All right, so when you click on the one of the servers, you're going to see the login screen for Joomla, for whichever instance you have been you've been trying. So if in this case I'm using 4.1, so I have a username bfhuser, which you will use for you today, and I will give you the password in a minute in the chat. Everybody has the same password, but every time somebody logs in, it is required to change the password. So is here. I'm gonna change my password very quick. No. So it really requires. Oh, sorry. Oh. It's always like that when you do tests online. Demos. So you're going into the console. Go to the home dashboard. Go to global configuration. And you will see in the list of available extensions, the Joomla patch tester that I have installed. To access the patch tester, you will be required to authenticate yourself. So in this case, we were going to use the repository Joomla CMS, and we need to get authenticated to GitHub. We need a token. So for this session, really, the one requirement you need to have is that you need a GitHub account. So if you don't have one, you can create one very quick. So then when in this area, you have a link to go directly to GitHub. It takes you directly to the settings. So if you go through the GitHub console, you just go to settings, and then down the line, there is developer settings. Go to personal access tokens, and you click on generate new token. When you click on generate new token, it asks you to confirm your access. You can say, you can give a name to it so that you remember what it is for, and then you have an expiration date. I would suggest you just say 7 days, since we're going to use only for today, so that it can be used later on. If you want to go back and create, test more patches later on, you should just create a new token. Generate the token. So now you have a number that's available to you, and you copy that number. Remember that that number is a one-time thing, so it will show you once, and as soon as you get out of GitHub, you will lose it. So you have to copy it for sure, and then you enter it in the area in your server instance. 7 close. Now your configuration should be all right for Joomla patch tester to work. So to make sure that it works, you can say fetch data. You can see that it's working now. and you will see the list of all the patches that are available in the patch tester. You can filter them. Usually you can filter them by branch. Like here, we're gonna work on 3.10, 4.1, and 4.2. You can see also the kind of patch it is. Like Richard said earlier, we cannot test patches that require in recompilation of the environment because we are working on an already set environment. So you do not have today you do not have to go through the list of those patches because we do have our list available thanks to Rick and Richard.
But I would recommend to use the patch tester list, because here in the Excel, in the Google worksheet, we have the link to the issue tracker that is comfortable when you want to mark your test result.
Yes.
If you go back to the patch tester, what I recommend first is you always filter by the right target branch. That means if you are testing in a 4.1 environment, then filter by 4.1. The next thing is you cannot test pull requests which require NPM. So filter NPM patches to no. And the next thing is when a pull request has 2 successful tests, then it is set to RTC, which means ready to commit. And so it doesn't need to waste time to test the pull request more than 2 times. So you can filter them and say, I only want those which are not ready, RTC already. And finally, as long as the pull request is in a draft status, it means it's not ready for testing yet. And so you can filter the draft patches also. And finally, you get a dramatically reduced list. And in this list, then you have icons where you can click on a link, view on GitHub, and view on the issue tracker. GitHub is maybe better because there you can see review comments, which you cannot see in the issue tracker. And so you can maybe see that some maintainer or bug squad member has requested changes on this pull request. And as long as these changes are not implemented, it also doesn't make sense to test it. Or there may be an open discussion on the pull request. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it the right way to fix it? Or should it be done different? So I always recommend before you test the pull request, click the view on GitHub button and check if there is some discussion ongoing telling, the pull request is wrong or whatever. You can scroll down and then you can see if there are discussions or change requests. Here you can see, at the bottom, you can see the newest. And at the bottom, you can also see the result of the internal, the automatic testing. And there is one step which is called download. And if you go to details, you will come to a page where people can, in this case, the pull request is too old. The pull request is too old. It's more than, it's 3 months ago or something. For newer pull requests, you can find there links to installation and update packages, which allow you to test pull requests on a local environment, preferably, which, for example, require NPM or which have database changes. This is then the other method, which we can maybe introduce the people later. But this is my recommendation. First, always check the pull request. You can also, if you go to files changed in the pull request on GitHub.
Yeah, excuse me, yes.
Then if you go to the files changed here.
Yes, I'm going, it's just slow.
It's a bit slow. And then you can see what the pull request changes. If you are curious.
Yeah, you
and there you can also see, it is changing database stuff or whatever.
Yeah, so you can see on the which files are modified on the side. Yeah, this one, for example, doesn't have anything on database access. It doesn't seem like it.
No, it doesn't need to check the files. In some case, it makes sense if there are review comments, but this you also can see on the front page in the discussion, but you will not see it in the issue tracker. That's the point. And therefore, I always suggest first have a quick look on the pull request on GitHub. And then if you see, it is ready for testing, there is
you get some
no
hints
critical comment or something, you know.
And if unsure,
and sometimes
ask here if this pull request should be tested or not if somebody's unsure.
Yeah, and then at the end, when you have successfully tested the pull request, you can click the link to the issue tracker. The issue tracker is a list where you can see issues and pull requests, and this link now goes directly to the pull request, and then there is a blue test this button at the top left corner, and then you can select your test result and can submit.
Yeah, and even if you didn't have a successful test, you should put it and then give a little explanation on why it didn't work for you.
Yeah, for example, if you test it and it fails, then you would select test unsuccessfully. Yeah, but then you should leave a comment what has not worked and not just say the test hasn't worked. Then you should say it failed here and here and here with this and that problem. And then you can submit the test result. And later, if you see, oh, I made a mistake, then you can use the button again and can select not tested. And then this previous test result is reverted.
Okay.
But normally you will select tested successfully and submit the test result, and then our tool counts how many tests it has. And as soon as it has 2 tests, then we can see that and can set this pull request to ready to commit.
Yeah.
This is what the issue tracker is good for.
Mm.
If you just abort this and just click the tracker button in the menu, tracker. Just go to tracker. There you have a list of all issues and pull requests, and there you have a few search tools which you don't have on GitHub. If you click the search tools, you can, for example, say, I want to select for the tests, those which need 1 test.
Yeah.
Which means it has already a good test, and it just needs 1 more.
Yeah.
To get ready to commit. And this is also a way how to go through the pull requests and say, okay, I want to be useful. I focus on these. Or you can say, but this easy test flag isn't really used anymore. But you can also filter pull requests by categories and stuff. But normally you don't need the issue tracker except if you want to select the test result. Everything else is more comfortable on GitHub. Especially if you are using a mobile phone, because the issue tracker is not really mobile friendly.
Mm. The good thing is that if you already have 1 test done, it means that the patch maybe probably is working. And as soon as there are 2 tests that are successful, then the patch is actually ready for.
If you now go to needs, if you check the tests, this filter again, if you change needs 1 test to has 2 tests, then you will find some of them have status ready to commit. That is then what happens when they have 2 good tests, and some of them don't have this status.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, there is some discussion ongoing which keeps us from setting it to ready to commit.
Okay, so even
but
if
also these pull requests do not require any tester at the moment.
Yeah. So even if a pull request have been tested successfully, it doesn't mean it's going to be in the release. It means that.
Yeah, it means we have to check it and then decide is there all okay with it. Then we say it's ready to commit. or we say there is something wrong with it, then normally we should set a special status like updates requested or something like that. Or in this case, they remain in the pending status or go back to the pending status. And finally, at the end, before then the pull request is merged, it is again checked by somebody.
Okay.
We do not blindly say it has to test, we merge it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So you have somebody, is it the lead of the release that does that, or?
At the end, it's in most cases the release lead who, especially when it is related to new features or to changes in function, then the release lead has to decide, or the release leads, or even the production department sometimes has to decide if a patch has to wait and go in a later version due to compatibility reasons and things like that. Yeah, and but this is very rare. So normally you can just focus on testing, and what I have explained with this filtering and stuff is just that you don't waste time to test pull requests which don't need to be tested anymore because they have enough tests, or which cannot be tested with a patch tester. This is mainly what I think should be explained, and I think we have explained it now.
Yes. So so you see, when you have a patch available, you just click on apply patch in your console, and then it will apply the patch to your environment.
There's one tricky bug in the patch tester. When you use the filter, then it changes the ordering. At the moment, the oldest pull request is at the top. So go back to the patch tester. Scroll a bit right. So you get the ordering column.
Oh, okay. What?
Yes, ordering, title ascending. Change title ascending to at the top beside the filter options. At the top beside the filter options is sorting title ascending. Change that, because the pull, as soon as you apply filtering, that's a bug in the patch tester, it sorts them by title. That makes no sense. You should always order by pull ID descending, because then you have the newest at the top.
Yes, that's right.
Because for the newest, it's it's more likely that they don't have any problems and conflicts, and the old ones, they might have conflicts. Also in our worksheet are mostly newer pull requests, so this is the best way to find them. And you always have to set the ordering when you have changed the filter.
Yes. I'm going to put the ordering back because I have my a patch that I want to see. When you have a patch available and set in your environment, it says revert patch here. That means that the patch is actually active on your environment. So you test, you look at the issue tracker and you test the issue, and if you find that the patch resolved it, that's when you can go and in the issue tracker and get the number of your pull ID, and then
you directly have the link to the issue tracker, in the patch tester.
And actually, yes, you do have the direct link. You click on it, go to test this, like we said earlier, test successfully or unsuccessfully. And then once you have done with all the test and comments on the test, you can go back and revert the patch, so you can go on to another one. You don't want to have too many patches working at the same time on your environment, because one can mess the other. So, and that's about what
you should have only one patch applied at a time.
Yeah, because
you can apply more than one patch theoretically if they don't touch the same files, but you should not do that. And what you also should do from time to time, when you have tested the pull request and you have reverted the patch and have no patch applied, then use the fetch data button to update the list.
Yeah, you can go back.
Because when after 1 hour, it can be that several pull requests have had 2 tests and are ready to commit.
Especially on a day like
And
today.
if you don't update your list and don't check that, you will test it again and someone else tests it again, and that might be a waste of time.
Yeah, so that's why it's important if you work on
Or
an
worst
issue.
case, the pull request was wrong and the one closes the pull request.
Yeah,
So that's why I always refresh the list when I have finished my test and reverted my pull request. Then I refresh the list and pick up the next one.
yeah, you do that, and also you can check the today's bugs and fun sheet, so where people put their issue numbers. So if you see that your issue is already in the list, you just don't work on it. I think that's about what we needed to say about to start this. So if anybody wants to start messing up with an environment, they can just pick one, put your name in the sheet, and then we know which instance you've been using. You should probably look at the list that have been put together by the Joomla bug squad, so that you know which kind of environments you would need to work on. For example, if you take the one on line 4, remove not used DB reference. That's an easy one for somebody who's new at this, and it has a patch available, and it needs a Joomla version 4.2. So if you're looking into that one patch, you just click on any of the 4.2 instance available, put your name in. When you get in, change the password, and you are set to go. And of course, if you have any questions or if it requires any more information, just ask. Be very happy to help. So Kiki, you took site 85. So you're saying
Yes.
you're using 8.1, the PHP 8.1.
Yes. Yes.
All right. And then if we run out of instances, I can always go back and create more.
85.